Welcome to Paris 2024, the games of the 17th Paralympiad, and it is day one of the wheelchair rugby competition at the Champ de Mars in the 7th arrondissement of France's capital. And what a start we have. Australia versus Great Britain, followed by a clash of North America, the United States of America against Canada. But first, it's time to get excited for the world champions Australia against the reigning Paralympic champions Great Britain.
To launch the competition.
Merci d'accueillir le champion olympique de rugby à 7 à Paris 2024.
Please welcome a Paris 2024 Olympic Rugby Sevens gold medalist,
Antoine Zegda.
Attention, please. The coup de baton, a tradition harking back to the days of theatre in Paris to grab the attention and praise silence for the performance to come. And who better than France's Rugby Sevens gold medal winner, Anton Zegda.
captain and number 10, Chris Bond.
And here come a nation hunting gold themselves. Fourth in Tokyo, led by their captain, Chris Bond. It is Australia who've tasted gold many times before, London and Rio, but they left Tokyo disappointed. They come to Paris with a Paralympic point to prove.
Number 8, Ben Fawcett. Number 11, Bo Vernon.
Numéro 14.
Number 12, Shay Graham.
Numéro 14.
Number 14, Andrew Edmondson.
Numéro 15.
Number 15, Braden Foxley Connolly.
Et numéro 21.
And number 21, Josh Nicholson.
Australia's Steelers are on the court, led by Brad Duberly, their esteemed coach.
And now we welcome the team.
All the talent on show there with their full squad list.
Capitaine numéro 4.
Captain and number 4, Gavin Walker.
And there's Brad Duberly there, and now time to meet their opponents, the reigning Paralympic champions, Great Britain.
Stuart Robinson.
Numéro 5.
Number 5, Jack Smith.
Numéro 6.
Number 6, Dave Ross.
Numéro 8.
Number 8, Nick Cummins.
Numéro 9.
Number 9, Ollie Mannion.
Numéro 10.
Number 10, Tyler Walker.
Numéro 11.
Number 11, Kieran Flynn.
Numéro 12.
Number 12, Jamie Stead.
Numéro 13.
Number 13, Aaron Phipps.
Et numéro 14.
And number 14, Daniel Kellett.
Well, it's filled up rather nicely here at the Champ de Mars as we sit in this beautifully architecturally constructed temporary arena in the shadow of the Tour Eiffel. Great Britain come here with dreams of more medals, having clinched their first ever at the Paralympics in Tokyo. And that one was gold.
The national anthem of Australia.
Merci de rester debout si vous le pouvez pour l'hymne national de la Grande-Bretagne.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Great Britain.
We are on the brink of the commencement of the wheelchair rugby programme at Paris 2024.
The officials for this match and referee 1, Kevin Bowie, Canada. Referee 2, Josh Kerr.
The final pleasantries are exchanged between two nations who are fierce, fierce rivals. Australia stung by their lack of medals in Tokyo, who have returned to the Paralympics emboldened and with fresh designs on coming away in gilded glory. Riley Batt, James McQuillan, Chris Bond, the captain, and Bo Vernon represent a high-low team strategy. More on that to come as the match unfolds, and so too for Great Britain, who have the powers of Stu Robinson to call on as one of their high-class players. Our referees, Kevin Bowie of Canada, Josh Kearns of the USA. Josh was out in Tokyo whilst Kevin Bowie refereed the world final in Ville, Denmark, the one that Australia came away with gold against the USA. So potentially a good omen for the Steelers.
Et maintenant l'équipe de départ pour la Grande-Bretagne.
And the starting four for Great Britain.
Numéro 2.
Number 2, Jonathan Coggan.
Well, they've packed themselves in.
Numéro 3.
That's for sure. It is one of the hottest tickets in town at a Paralympic Games that has sold in excess of 2 million tickets.
And number 13, Aaron Phipps.
The starter gun was fired in spectacular fashion at the opening ceremony along the Place de Concorde last night. And now we zero in on the Champ de Mars.
Arrêt Champ de Mars avec nous maintenant pour le compte à rebours avant le coup d'envoi. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
The wheelchair rugby competition of Paris 2024 is underway, and it is the reigning world champions Australia against the reigning Paralympic champions Great Britain. And it is Great Britain in white through Aaron Phipps to score the first try of the match. Chris Bonds, Australia's captain, a high point individual, goes weaving through the white jersey traffic, and safe passage achieved to the try line. For those of you who are new to wheelchair rugby, will be prepared for highbrow strategy blended with high-octane collisions. There is a lot of tactics that go into unlocking a defence, but there is also brute force, as you can see by the dents on the chairs that both Australia and GB are using to aplomb. Through Stuart Robinson to find a way through the Australian defence. Chris Bond, another high point player. At any one time, with the 4 members that you have on court, you can only have a total of 8 classification points between you. So Phipps is a 3.5, and that denotes that he has a higher level of functionality as an athlete with quadriplegia. So too Stu Robinson, and that is offset by the low point players of Johnny Coggin, I beg your pardon, and Jack Smith. Robinson getting in there, spoiling and forcing a timeout from Australia, and Riley Batt there, talismanic man, wearing 3.
Timeout called by Australia, number 3, Riley Batt.
So Riley Batt under pressure there from the GB defence, forced into calling a timeout. It's 4 30-second timeouts at the disposal of players on court. There's a couple of coaches' ones that are 60 seconds. They're not things that you want to use lightly and quite so early. As we see, Riley Batt make his way across the try line, and that'll be a sight that you'll see of great regularity. For many people's money, the best player on the planet, and has been for some time in his 6th Paralympic Games. He debuted at the tender age of just 15, 20 years ago. Has vowed that this will be his last Paralympics, and he and Chris Bond and the rest of the Steelers are desperate for that to end in glory. Bond and Batt combine, 4 apiece, with a couple of minutes gone on the clock, and GB go over the top, and there's no faster man in the game than Aaron Phipps. One of 7 GB players to be taking to the court with MBEs after their triumph in Tokyo. Tussle between Phipps and Batt. Phipps trying to get his arm in there to dislodge the ball. You can't make contact with the player in possession with his body, but you can try and reach to dislodge or steal the ball, or indeed hold it. First possession of the game did go to GB, and here we see a defensive strategy from Australia where they've flooded the key, they've invited GB on. Really, they've found that pretty easy to barrel their way through. Smith working hard to try and snare Bond's wheels. But Bond too elusive and a little too fast off the mark as well.
In this first period as Chris Bond levels it up again at 6 each.
So you'll see lots of stuff going on in the centre of the field of play. And you'll see some different chairs out there. All 4 who are in the left side of the court here, high classification players. Their chairs a little more mobile, a little faster and more nimble, and that is so that they can manoeuvre their way around the course through the traffic and across the line. Whereas Johnny Coggin here on the near side, you see he's got a pick, as does Jack Smith at the front of the chair, and they are used by those lower point players to try and ensnare the chairs of those of a higher classification. Smith and Coggin down there getting ready to get stuck in and do the slightly less glamorous work of scoring, but no less important. Chris Bond is penalised for contact with the arm.
Equipment timeout called by Australia for number 11, Bo Vernon.
Bo Vernon getting a few running repairs. In his first major tournament, he was involved in the qualification success in Wellington, the man from Phillip Island, Victoria. Big mates with Chris Bond, actually. That's who got him into the game back in 2022. Been a big AFL man in days gone by. Point for points at the moment with no turnovers to report. GB leading by 1. Riley back, almost getting trapped in his key now. Australia are going to have to get a shift on because they've got to get across the centre line in good time. And how about that for power and pace from Bond under pressure?
It's one down in the penalty box after that previous Great Britain try, and immediately back into try-scoring action itself. Level at 8 each.
12 seconds to carry possession from the backcourt across the centre line. You can't travel back as well, just like in basketball. So you'll sometimes see teams put a high press on to try and make life extremely difficult to get out of the backcourt in prompt time. But here, GB are keying up. Trying to flood that key, they're trying to make it impenetrable, but it's not a word that's in Riley Batt's dictionary, really. GB re-established their leads. The inbound to come. GB take up position, trying to nullify the threat of Riley Batt. He gets away from Coggan. Phipps is in pursuit. Phipps is almost doing enough, but that is great pace from Riley Batt, who, as you can see, has his shoulders heavily taped. He's been a victim of dislocated shoulders throughout his playing career, and by his own admission, he's pretty much taped up to be able to compete in this Paralympics. It's an effort to get onto court, to train every time, even for him, and he's going to the well. He really is putting his body on the line to try and play a leading role in an Australian success. Here he is, surrounded. This could be tricky. Oh, squeezes a beautiful ball away. And it's telepathic between him and Chris Bond. Incredible awareness and the movement off the ball as well from Bond. Robinson. He missed the World Championships that Great Britain came 7th in. He's out with concussion when the GB team headed to Denmark. So there's a bit of a sense that he's got a point to prove out here in Paris. Oh, Vernon. Sits to bat. And now we're seeing the clock come into play as we approach the 2-minute mark. Shot clock there, you can see on the right ticking down. 10 seconds to get the job done. That, not much room to roll. Bond on the other side. And a timeout called.
Player timeout called by Australia number 3, Riley Batt.
Well, that is Australia's second timeout that they've used within the opening period. And that is a credit to the pressure that GB were exerting on Australia there, the shot clock ticking down, and they didn't want to concede the turnover to go potentially a try behind. So Riley back for the second time, forced into the timeout. This will become a factor later in the contest because timeouts are used to manipulate the clock to be the last team to score at the end of quarters. Not much manipulation there. That was good, blunt force from Riley back, but it is something that Australia are going to have to be mindful of now. As the match progresses, Stu Robinson upended. This is a sight you'll get to see plenty of over the course of the Paralympics here in Paris. It's a sport not shy on contact, and hitting the deck once in a while is part and parcel. You may have heard someone from the crowd or the coaches talking about hitting behind the axle, and that's what they're talking about there is a spinning foul. And if you make contact behind the axle of the chair, it creates an uneven unbalance, and it's deemed dangerous, and dishonourable contact maybe might be a way of putting it. So that leads to a penalty if it's deemed intentional. Obviously mishaps happen. Robinson looking for a way through.
Penalty try awarded to Great Britain. 13-12 they lead.
Well, penalty try to GB. We preserve this one-try lead, and it's well reeled in by Riley Batts. He scores with 58 seconds on the clock. Around about the time that they usually like to score. They usually aim for around about 55 seconds, Australia, and they do so because now GB will have their turn to score. And given the game clock, given that you've only got 40 seconds with which to score, there will be time left for Australia to then travel down the court and potentially score the last try. It's all about scoring the last try at the end of the quarter, but you can see that GB are delaying, and that is potentially with intention to then use a timeout which will reset the clock. Down to 1 second, timeout called. And they do just that.
Timeout called by Great Britain, number 13, Aaron Phipps.
So the clock, the possession clock, reset to 15 after the timeout. So you can see there the issues that Australia may just have later in the contest, being down a couple of timeouts. Bit of a change of personnel for Australia with Andrew Edmondson, the two-point classification player, out for his third Paralympics, and Josh Nicholson, the 29-year-old from Brisbane, Queensland, making his Paralympic debut. Change in strategy. GB being made to work for it. That's beautifully found. Cross court, Robinson to Phipps. So GB forge ahead by one. Australia with 4.3 seconds to score. Edmondson just collects, and he'll wrap that up and keep it safe, because Australia have the first possession come the second period. that is a quarter well played by both sides. One that GB goes into leading by a slender point. End of the first period, Australia 13, Great Britain 14. That tells the tale of a very tight first period with very little opportunity for teams to edge out into the lead.
Here we go, then counting down to the start of the second quarter, Chateau Arena.
Well, under the watchful eye of the venerated French General Joseph Joffre, Commander-in-Chief for the French forces on the Western Front in World War I. But I can tell you that it isn't all quiet here in the Champ de Mars. We are pretty much full in here, I can tell you that. And plenty have travelled across La Manche as well. It's an easy trip for the Brits to come and support their gold medal hopes. The Australian crowd also very lively, a good smattering of green and gold. Steelers captain Chris Bond gets the second period of the opening match. The wheelchair rugby of Paris 2024 underway and into the hands of his old buddy, Riley Batts. GB keying up at a few changes. Gavin Walker, the captain, onto the court, and so too Kieran Flynn, who's making his Paralympic debut. Make it tough for Riley, but somehow squeezes through wheelie style. Australia and GB are level. Now you'll have noticed that Australia started this second period, and that's because GB won possession from the initial tip-off. So for the next contested ball, would start with it. That's denoted by the arrow that you can see on the centre line, which is a bit of a Paralympic upgrade actually. It's usually a flip board with the arrow just flipping from one side to the other, but they've invested the big bucks in the LED. The direction of travel tells you which team has the next possession. Again, GB keying up, but to limited effect. Hugh Robinson to his captain, asking Gav Walker to reach. For less the Tiger does so. He's introduced to the game first up whilst in rehabilitation at Stoke Mandeville. Gav Walker, rather fitting too, with the Paralympic flame having been created at the hospital where the whole concept of the Paralympic movement
has 12 of those 16 tries for his team.
was first born by Dr. Ludwig Guttmann in 1948. The Stoke Mandeville Games. Just 16 injured World War II veterans on that occasion. Now, today in Paris, we welcome around about 4,400. The movement is strong, and the revolution continues, to paraphrase words from the opening ceremony last night. Bond and back combine. Walker almost gets a shunt on bat. As we are, slim pickings, and it's really disciplined from both sides. It's really precise. Walker again, in for a try. Flynn doing his level best. Unable to take effect. He's really been complimented, Kieran Flynn, with the composure and the intelligence with which he brings to the game. He's one of the less experienced players, so that's going to be the first turnover of this match. Looking for Flynn. Too much on the pass from Stu Robinson. Riley Bat arriving to shepherd its final bounce across the back line. So an opportunity here for Australia.
Coaches timeout called by Australia. 60-second timeouts. Great Britain losing possession for the first time in the game there. 18 each. Every possession led to a score up to that.
So on this occasion, coaches timeout called by Brad Duberly, who's been in the main role since 2007. Silver medalist himself as a player in Sydney. There's his opposite, 53-year-old Paul Shaw. Again, three-time Paralympian as a player. The man in charge when GB won gold in Tokyo. Off goes Chris Bond, clashing with Aaron Phipps, who's returned to the court alongside Johnny Coggan. Reinstalling the high-low strategy.
Given against Great Britain, a penalty try for Australia, and Australia into the lead for the first time in the match, 1918.
It's a penalty try, the call. Contact deemed to be spinning from Phipps, who's on the ball and so quick off the mark and rides up onto one wheel. Captain with the inbound, and you can see a bit of pressure being applied by GB, tight to the key. Bats manages to evade Stu Robinson. Australia re-establish this one-point lead.
Equipment timeout called by Australia's number 5, James McQuillan. The team have 60 seconds to stop this issue on the court.
James McQuillan, who celebrated his birthday yesterday, gets a few running repairs. Plays his wheelchair rugby for the powerhouse in Melbourne and Victoria Thunder. He's had a rapid rise, only picked up the game in 2021. Now celebrating 31 laps of the sun with a Paralympic debut. Aaron Phipps almost leaves the ball behind and slams the anchors down. GB a level in this real game of chess at the moment. Smith unable to get a contact on Chris Bond there. Have a pause. The ball in the hands of Stu Robinson. Australia keying up here with Bo Vernon, James McQuillan, and Baton Bond awaiting their arrival. 3 in the key at the moment. And they get Stu Robinson all locked up. That's good defence from Chris Bond and working in tandem with Bo Vernon. Still got a bit of time though, GB. No need to panic, and Stu Robinson is a cool head as GB just pop it over to Phipps, and that's so nicely done. Under extreme pressure. Sandwiched by Baton Bond, the arms flung up by Bond, he came close. But Phipps there to get his 2 wheels across the line.
Substitutions for Australia: Andrew Edmondson, number 14, and Josh Nicholson, number 21, back on court.
So Nicholson and Edmondson back on court. The captain takes a blow on the bench alongside McQuillan. Seeing more of those two. Edmondson meeting Coggan. Coggan almost doing really well on bat there. It's a great ball. Oh, but Robinson's so quick to it. GB turned the ball over in return. And Johnny Coggan is going to finish the job.
Johnny Coggan scores for Great Britain. They take the lead, the first in-game turnover there. Robinson recovering the ball for Great Britain, and they're back in front.
Well, no GB wheelchair rugby player has been to more Paralympics than that man, Johnny Coggan. His 6th outing in Great Britain colours. And here scoring in Paris. Inbound into bat, who reverses out of a spot of bother. Phipps almost gets his arm in, and GB outnumbered. And bat coasting home. 22 apiece, level again. Good work being done in other departments on the court to make it look very, very easy for Aaron Phipps. He's got plenty of pace as the man who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in 2016. It really is all about the work of the other 3 members on court. What are they doing to distract, to embroil, to make life difficult for the high classification players? And Coggan almost doing so. The bat, ever powerful, ever pacey, gets around the edge. We can see right there some not very subtle signalling coming from the GB bench. Holding up the key, which would suggest a key defence, but maybe it needs to put pressure on Australia in their key. So, more subtle than I originally gave it credit for. Wow, that's a beautiful ball. Just drifted over to Edmondson.
Timeout called by Australia, number 3, Riley Batts.
But Riley Batt is forced into yet another timeout, burning through these, Australia.
Those player timeout totals you can see for Australia ticking down to 1. That is 1.
There is only one player timeout remaining for Australia here, and there's one coach's timeout remaining. Conversely, GB have 2 and 2. Bat. Oh, an exquisite ball. So much is made of his pace, his power, his aggression, the intensity, but the vision and deftness to drop that ball into the space and bounce it into the path of Bond really takes some skill. But it's Bat looking up to the skies in frustration because Aaron Phipps is scoring with complete freedom. You can see now he makes his way back as GB look to employ key defence strategy. Smith and Coggan there on the edges. Phipps and Robinson in the middle. Australia send their missiles in. Well blocked off, Coggan getting around, and then Phipps lending a hand too. There is space round on the far side, and really anyone could have scored that between Bond and Vernon, but it's Bond first to it. Ray Vernon positioning himself well also. Minute and 40 remaining. Remember, all the focus now is who can score last. With a game as tight as this, have a major impact on how the second half will unfold. Phipps gets across, 1:26 on the clock. 40 seconds to score here. Australia will not be eager to use a timeout in terms of clock management because they've only got one left, but this isn't a stoppage for a fault with the equipment. That's made by the muscle man symbol. And that's worked out rather nicely for Chris Bond as well, because Australia were looking a little stodgy in the backcourt. And when there's an equipment adjustment required, that of course doesn't use a timeout. Sometimes when the kit fails you, it actually works for you. That spins out of the challenge. Coggan can't get to him. Vernon waiting at the key, and Bond does a nice job in just escorting Aaron Phipps away as he came hurtling in. 1:04 on the clock.
That's the first try of the game for Australia for number 11, Bo Vernon.
26 apiece. GB possession. And they're looking to score as quickly as possible. It was fingertips from Bond, who so nearly got that interception. And now GB lead by 1, 52.8 on the clock. They put themselves in a really good position to be the last to score in this half. Vernon looking for a second try, reels it in just in the nick of time.
Vernon immediately doubling his tally for Australia. 27 all. Just over 30 seconds left in the half.
As you can see, these are the final seconds. There's no shot clock because there was less than 40 on the clock. So GB will now look to be the last scorers.
Equipment timeout called by Great Britain, number 13, Aaron Phipps.
Here an equipment timeout. So you could see there that Stu Robinson was home and hosed. He had the court to himself and he could score at will. But the strategy here is to run the clock down as much as possible so as not to give Australia an opportunity to score another one of those. Fawcett. Ken Fawcett is on, along with Vernon. And Australia are keying up. They're going to look to take a siege mentality to repel GB here. Seconds ticking away. Stu Robinson being harassed, and he gets it to Phipps, who manages to just hold on that little bit more. 2.4 seconds on the clock. That throws up the Hail Mary, but too much on it. No good for Bond, but all good for Great Britain, who get the final try of an absorbing half. Courtesy of Aaron Phipps. And at half-time, it is Australia 27, Great Britain 28.
Running back for Australia. And a first score of the game for Great.
Well, here are the statistics of an enthralling first half, and well, there were no turnovers to speak of in the opening period, but you can see there the one for GB and the steal and the point lead, and with possession when the second half gets underway.
Un maximum de bruit pour The Moppies.
Showing appreciation for the Moppers. Okay, it's time to bring in our power punch. If you see yourself on screen, there's a punch bag there. All you've got to do when I count you down from 5 is punch it as hard as you can. We're going to pit 2 of you against each other. So on 5, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give it a whack. Are you giving it a whack already? 369. Not bad. Not bad. We're going to find somebody else to have a go and see if they can beat 369. Oh, here we go. Oh, the France.
Est-ce que vous êtes prêts pour le kick-off? C'est pas complet. Je vais vous donner un décompte à 5. Il va falloir taper le plus fort possible. Attention au décompte. Vous êtes prêts? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Et on tape le plus fort possible. Ok, le maximum, bravo!
That's the way. If you see yourself on the screen, give us a wave, give us a smile, give us a song, give us anything you got. And certainly if you brought a flag, give it a wave. Oh, if you've got a small child, give them a bounce as well. Well, let's go Steelers. Team Shea. Team Shea Graham are in the house. Team Aaron Phipps are here, North East Bulls are here, that's Team Jack Smith. Oh, they're here as well.
Allez, la réversion de main, je vois que vous êtes en train d'essayer de le lancer une bola. Il va falloir suivre le mouvement, tous ensemble. Ça va se passer comme ça tout au long de cette session de rugby fauteuil.
Paris 2024, the wheelchair rugby at the Champ de Mars. And at half-time in Group B, it is Australia 27, Great Britain 28, a meeting of the world champions and the reigning Paralympic champions.
Ok, elle commence à être belle cette eau-là. Derrière. Tout le monde. Par ici. À vous de jouer. Maintenant, et on repart de ce côté. C'est parti. Tous ensemble. Allez, on refait un tour. Parfait. C'est ça les Jeux Paralympiques de Paris 2024.
Welcome back to the meeting of Australia and Great Britain in the wheelchair rugby of Paris 2024, the opening day. GB having taken a one-try advantage into half-time. They get the first possession and they extend their lead by 1. They are a break-up, so to speak, after a very important turnover late in the second period. And that turnover was not against the grain of the game as well. A couple of nearlies from GB and also forcing Australia into early timeouts as well. They only have 1 coaches and 1 player timeout remaining for the rest of the match. GB looking very composed in all that they're doing. There has been a change in personnel. As Ella Sabeljak has come on for her second Paralympic performance. But it's her first as a wheelchair rugby player, having played wheelchair basketball in Tokyo, where she came 9th, and that is a timely intervention from Riley Batt, who then gets dispossessed himself. Sabler-Jack is quick to it. Australia being harried, but the composure shown by Andrew Edmondson. That was a real team effort there, with Sabler-Jack arriving on the scene. And a positive intervention for the 32-year-old, nice and early in her Paralympic wheelchair rugby bow. Back on level terms. Well, so to speak, GB leading by 1. But Australia with possession, and also they will have the next possession. Riley Batt circumnavigates the GB defence. Notice that he spent no time off court. Oh, and that's why he's so aggressive and so instinctive. And a timeout called just in the nick of time as Stu Robinson was going to the deck there. Such an awkward ball to take. He did very well before 2 Steelers set upon him.
Player timeout called by Great Britain, number 3, Stuart Robinson.
And there is the turnover. There was the intercept. Edmondson and Batt working in tandem. So Australia have come out fighting in this third period. A turnover and a forced timeout upon GB as well.
Number 2, Jonathan Coggan, and number 13, Aaron Phipps.
GB reinstate their high-low team. Johnny Coggan and Aaron Phipps onto the court, the same quartet who started the match. Oh, well, we see GB player go over. I think it's Jack Smith.
Referee timeout.
There she is, Ella Sabler-Jack, who she described herself as crazy for attempting to switch from basketball to rugby. Very distinguished career. She got silver at the 3x3 wheelchair basketball at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham a couple of years ago, but it's a running theme through this Steelers group. She said that she came into the environment and just felt incredibly valued. She felt loved the culture of the team, and that's what's really driven her to just become immersed in wheelchair rugby in Australia. She's making her impact known here early in this second half. Over the top, Robinson to Phipps. Composure restored after a bit of a frenetic opening couple of minutes as far as GB are concerned. Australia putting the squeeze on, and that New South Wales connection between Edmondson and Batt bearing fruit. There you go, out the back door, right into the grasp of the point plunderer himself. Riley Batt cruises home for another try. Robinson did fabulously to escape that cul-de-sac that he'd found himself in. It is easy to remark on the pace, on the power, on that manoeuvrability, but it is all about keeping cool under pressure as well. Robinson has it all. Here's Batt. flips it over to Edmondson.
Now that's the first try of the game for Australia for number 14, Andrew Edmondson.
Also turns out for Sydney Uni as well. Couple of balls rutting, locking horns there. Robinson and Bat, by his own admission, has said in the past that he's not a nice guy on court. He loves the conflict, loves the trash talk. You can see he just loves slaloming through those white jerseys for tries.
That's now 23 tries from one back in Australia. That score of 34 each.
Try number 23 as the game is levelled up momentarily for GB. Edgeno's in front again.
For Great Britain as well. That's try number 17 for him.
Phipps has arrived, that's for sure, but Bat rides out the challenge and Sabljak does some terrific work. Just to carve an alleyway for Bat to cruise down on that far right side. Edmondson gets taken out by Smith. That's nice work. And the low pointer. Risky ball, could be anyone's. Whose chair did that bounce off? Edmondson is really had a profound impact on this period so far. Looking for those interceptions, looking for those steals. He gets unlucky there because the last touch came off Edmondson, so GB can breathe a sigh of relief because that was almost the turnover for the Steelers. They key up. Oh my goodness, have you seen a contact like that? Aaron Phipps like a missile. Takes out Ellis Sabljak out. Off court, that was extraordinary.
Australia's number 1 Ellis Sabljak into the penalty box on a try with his penalty. For leaving the back of the court.
So she has a journey to the penalty box. Not sure there was much she could have done about that. Penalised for leaving the court. It's under some duress as well. And you see here now, Stu Robinson delaying scoring so that Phipps can mark Sabljak, who is released from the penalty box now. And because she's blocked in there, she has to nominate herself to throw the inbound, which she does successfully and finds Andrew Edmondson. Australia are kind of back in formation now. Bat looking for Sabljak. It's a brilliant ball. And Sabljak, you see the way that her hands went immediately to her head. She's furious with herself. Would expect a lot more of her skill set. That is a pretty big moment. The turnovers are few and far between in this match at the moment, and now GB lead by 2.
Out of bounds, Great Britain back 2 in front. There are 3 minutes left in this third quarter.
Robinson collides with Bat before Edmondson comes and helps him out. Margins for error in this sport really are so small. Just that one slip through the grip of Ellis Sabljak, and now Australia on the back foot. Phipps collides with Edmondson and has the wherewithal to find Robinson. And one thing you can say about GB is the directness with which they're attacking. Not a massive passing game. fewer the passes, the fewer the risks, the fewer the opportunities for turnovers and interceptions, and Phipps almost catching the back wheels of that, but what about that? The no-look pass to Ella Sabljak, and she bags her first Paralympic try. GB restore their 2-point cushion. They head deep. They back their key defence. Sabljak almost having an impact on Aaron Phipps. And Stu Robinson then tries to get an arm in to dislodge the ball, just as back round to a halt. Too much strength, too much ring craft from Riley Batts. Phipps, stationary only momentarily. The way that he explodes off the mark, I'm not sure if there's a player in the whole game whose first 2 pushes generate so much speed and acceleration. Changes look like they may be rung soon from Australia. Captain Bond is in the replacement box, and Stu Robinson's arriving on the scene, and he's done really well there. The post might come into play, and Riley Batt is forced into the 4th and final timeout for Australia, and they'll make their changes as well. It was desperate defence from Robinson, who came thundering in, and the way that he shunted back there, he knew that he couldn't get his 2 wheels to the line without potentially hitting the post, and that would have led to the turnover regardless. So great determination and endeavour from Great Britain. Australia really under the pump now with only 1 coach's timeout remaining. So Emily Miller is on for a Paralympic debut. She's wearing 2 for Australia. Here's Jake Howe as well for his 2nd Paralympics. The captain, Chris Bond. Oh, ensnared by Smith and then shunted by Robinson. The call's gone Australia's way.
Penalty try awarded to Australia. That would have won 39-40.
Well, 3 sets of eyes on referee Josh Kearns. Big decision for him to make, and it's gone the way of the Steelers. So they mitigate the scoreboard damage. Remains this 1 turnover advantage, so to speak, for GB, and Aaron Phipps cruising across with 1 minute and 9 seconds on the clock.
Also another substitution for Australia. Over they go. Number 4, Jake Howe onto court.
Tricky inbound here for Howe, and Bond presents himself, and he's duly found. Oh, shoveled out, and that's a lot of pressure. Oh, it's miraculous from Chris Bond that Howe couldn't grasp it, and now Robinson was going to go all the way home, but Bond has come in. And he's hit Phipps behind the back axle. Australia got no timeouts, remember. So that's why there's kind of no get out for them there. Usually you call a timeout because you can see the risk. I should mention as well, I haven't previously, with Emily Miller on the court, and the same applied when Ella Sabljak was as well, that female athletes give the team a 0.5 increase in total classification points that you're allowed to have on court. So if you're totting up the maths, then when Emily and Ella were on court, Australia were allowed 8.5 on the court. Change the lineup though. McQuillan's on, Vernon's on. Bond is finding the going tough. 19 seconds to make it across the line. This is the biggest lead of the match so far. That penalty try from the illegal contact made by Bond on Phipps. Just fluffing up the cushion for Great Britain, who now will look to wind down the clock and get the final score of this period. Baton Bond versus Phipps and Robinson. Phipps across the line, 4 seconds on the clock. Australia unable to go quickly. They've got 4 seconds to launch the Hail Mary.
And a coach's timeout called by Great Britain, 60 seconds.
Coach's timeout called by Paul Shaw, the dying embers of this period. It's Gav Walker, the Great Britain captain. And that was to give GB enough time to reorganise themselves, to reconfigure themselves defensively, to create too many problems for Bat to unlock. It goes long, it goes too long. And that was a significant period. The last try of the period coming from Aaron Phipps, cheered on by young Tyler Walker. And at the end of the third period, it's Australia 40, Great Britain 43.
To get themselves 3 in front, the defending Paralympic champions lead the world champions with 1 quarter remaining.
Well, that's how it all unfolded statistically, but the big thing is turnovers. The big thing is that GB pressure, and that's why they lead by 3.
And for the first time in the game, we have a 2-try advantage.
Allez, c'est le retour de la Ola ici à l'Arena Champ-Mars. On en est où? Je vais essayer de vous aider. Par ici, de ce côté, c'est reparti sur la tribune. Ici, de ce côté, derrière l'équipe de la Grande-Bretagne. Maintenant, derrière l'Australie, à vous de jouer. À gauche maintenant, on continue, on y veut faire le tour. Allez, vous êtes magnifiques. Ok, vous êtes parfaits.
Time for the 4th and final quarter of this Group B encounter of the wheelchair rugby, with Australia, the reigning world champions, trailing the reigning Paralympic champions, Great Britain, 40 tries to 43.
Bravo, vous pouvez vous applaudir.
Australia with the first possession, trailing by 3 in this 4th and very decisive quarter. I would argue, after what happened in the third, that could prove to be the decisive one. 2 turnovers for GB, and the fourth and final timeout burnt by Australia, although they do have a coach's one in their back pocket. Stu Robinson struggling to get across the centre line for a moment there. Just 12 seconds you're permitted. And as Robinson receives the pass back on the 1-2, we have a stop for Chris Bond, who's got a bit of a equipment problem with his chair. Well, he's been impressive, Aaron Phipps, there's no doubt about it. Man, born and raised in Southampton. He plays for the London Wheelchair Rugby Club. He started as a wheelchair racer. His hero, none other than the Werewolf, David Weir. Steelers fans, their hero's Riley Batt. He's delivered tries aplenty as per usual, but they need something more from not just him, but from all the Steelers at the moment. Who at the moment are on course to lose their opening match of the Paralympics for the second time running. They went down to Denmark in extraordinary and quite shocking fashion as far as Australian players and fans were concerned in Tokyo. Here, there was a real sense of nobody willing to sort of really put their neck on the line and say who was going to win this contest. Such a tight competition this year in Paris. See there the class continuing to permeate through all the deeds of Batt and Bond. The cycle since Tokyo and Paris really has told a tale of everyone beating everyone. Great Britain, 2-time silver medalists in the Europeans. They've fallen to France on both occasions. Australia defeating the USA in the World Championships in 2022 in Denmark. But then lots of mini competitions with Japan prospering and the Canada Cup. Plenty of global competitions for all these players to be honing this craft. This craft that is so precise. To this point has yielded very few turnover opportunities, but those that have presented themselves have been snatched by GB. Stu Robinson, their attacking talisman, takes the pace off, picks his moment and his teammate, and he's almost dispossessed, but there is contact on the wrist from Riley Batt, which is illegal, so the try will stand. Quillen looks to impede Phipps, but Batt goes it all alone. 45-47. Stu Robinson rowing into the game with every revolution of his wheels at the moment. There is Tyler Walker, 20 years old. A meteoric rise from the young man who only started playing 18 months ago, if you can believe it. And here he is at Paris 2024, yet to get any minutes on court, or seconds more accurately, I would predict. That's what it's all about. That's what everybody on court wants.
Just over 5 minutes remaining. 2 tries between them, the world champions Australia and the defending Paralympic champions Great Britain.
Jack Smith feeds it to Robinson. He goes to Phipps. Tried and tested, isn't it? Low-risk stuff from Great Britain right now, and that's the kind of ball they need to play. It is Australia who need to make the avenues into the scoreboard. Oh, Phipps comes hurtling across. Repels back, and then Robinson's on, and Coggan's in there too. Bond sees just a glint of light. Quicker than a ray of lights. Pierces through and across the line. 2 points in it. Australia still seeking a turnover. Brilliant work in the middle from Jack Smith, who just planted himself into the passage of all those green jerseys. He's the one who created the space, the time for Phipps and Robinson to then, pick their path, really. Jack Smith named the best 0.5 class player at the European Championships in Cardiff in 2023. Living up to that billing today. Wow, that was careless. That was a breakdown in communication, and that, quite simply, was a gift. A gift and a lifeline for Australia and Chris Bond. Robinson delays his travel across the try line, and it allows Coggan, Smith and Phipps to steel themselves back there on the key. Vernon's going to inbound to bat. And GB are going to invite the Steelers onto them. Bond engages Phipps. Smith goes after bat. Just enough room for Riley to do his thing. This time, Smith finds his man. Coggan doing the unglamorous stuff in the middle, making life easy for Robinson, who's got Phipps alongside him if he needs. He gets given a helping hand from Riley Batt's wheels. GB reinstate their 2-point lead. Well, Bond saw it coming, didn't he? He sought out his old buddy Bat, and he did so at the expense of being toppled over. There's no shortage of vibes here in the Champ de Mars. They have packed themselves in, and they're giving their energy to the players on court here today.
j'ai envie de vous entendre chanter maintenant. Allez, let's go.
Well, we're back underway from what felt like a custom-designed timeout to get a good blast of Free From Desire. And it has energised the crowd, and it's energised Johnny Coggan and co. to go long ball with 3 minutes and a bit of change on the clock. Stu Robinson, who first found the sport in the Invictus Games and has not missed a second so far today. Gets a bit of a tune-up on the chair. Bond goes to bat. Vernon working hard in the backcourt. McQuillan comes in as well, just to sort Riley Bat out, who weaves his way through the rest of the traffic. Back to within a try. Finally poised period in this match now. It's felt like GB have been in command, but that one turnover from the inbound has sort of really changed the atmosphere here. There's a sense amongst the Australians that one big play, one error from GB, and then overtime could be in sight. As it is, Robinson's in possession, and he's got time on the clock, although he's found himself down an alleyway, but he picks out Smith. That is fabulous movement from the .5 classification player. The man from Morecambe, delivering a try in Paris. You saw that. Robinson and Phipps almost left back to do his thing, with immediate thoughts on the inbound, which they take cleanly from Smith. Coggan ensnares Vernon, leaves Robinson to go mano-a-mano against Bat. Phipps comes in and lends his explosivity. Still Robinson goes. It's really balanced. But Robinson, maybe he got one wheel across and then got shunted back. Let's take a look at this. Wow, adjudged to have not been across the line. That's huge. Huge, huge moment. You have to get both wheels to the line. If you get one across and then you come back into play, then it's no try, it's travelling back. So no try to Britain, a turnover to Australia. That was the moment. And now things get real interesting. 1:46 on the clock, a one-try game, and possession in the hands of Australia. Oh, but they cede possession immediately. Oh my goodness. The faces on both the benches after that inbound. That is extraordinary. After all the hard work to force the turnover, to then give it up in one pass, McQuillan. Oh, and it's mishandled between him and Bat, and this will be GB ball, and well, this could be the game. The head dropped from the captain as soon as it left his grip. Phipps is just going to cruise onto this. With 1 minute and 18 left, no timeouts for Australia. A 3-point deficit. The game is... Oh! The game has just turned in a moment. Riley Bat tastes the wood there, and well, timeout not awarded because Australia don't have any. There's legitimate hits there. So this solidifies Great Britain's position. And what seconds ago was a game hanging in the balance is now one that GB is storming away with. But one thing's for sure, the crowd are loving it. It has been straight vibes from the moment the Olympic flame was lit, and it's continued to the ignition of the Paralympic 1-2. A full Champ de Mars, enjoying two of the best in the world. Captain Bond scores one more try for Australia, who right now know that this one is gone. GB with the possession, GB with their eyes on more tries. They won't just ride it out. They'll romp it home, 54-58. Potentially the last passage of this thrilling opener. Riley Bat, everywhere he's turning, it's white jerseys on wheels. He finds his man Vernon for a consolation try. Aaron Phipps will hold on, and so too will GB, who roar with delight. The reigning Paralympic champions have bested the reigning world champions in the opening match of Paris 2024 of the wheelchair rugby. Well, this vibrant and vociferous crowd have been treated to two of the very best in the world here. But it is Great Britain who've bested Australia 58-55 in the opening match of Group B of the wheelchair rugby at Paris 2024. Paris is alive with Paralympic passion, that's for sure. And this Great Britain side, who, by their own admission, have not enjoyed the greatest post-Tokyo cycle, have come here knowing that other teams would be gunning for them. They knew they came here as the gold medalists. They'd have a target on their back regardless. But they have really shown up, and they've sent a message to the rest of the nations. And they've taken a huge scalp here. They've taken the Australian one, the world champion one. Who won this day today, but maybe not at their precise best. There is room to grow for Brad Duberly and his talented charges. It includes 5 debut Paralympians. But for GB, who have 4 newbies with them, It is an opener to remember, 58 points to 55. You see there, turnovers and steals, pretty even, if we're being honest, around the match, but it's GB who capitalised upon them, and the way that they constricted Australia and forced them to take their timeouts early had a grand bearing on the outcome. So, one match completes, and Great Britain top of the log for now with a 58-55 win over Australia. 2 points to the reigning Paralympic champions. Australia searching for their first win.
Et comme d'habitude, je vais avoir besoin de vous plus que jamais. Je vais compter sur votre soutien tout au long de ce prochain match. Ne bougez pas, restez bien avec nous. Mesdames et messieurs, l'Arena Champ de Mars, merci s'il vous plaît de faire un tonnerre d'applaudissements à l'équipe des États-Unis.
It's time to welcome the teams for game number 2. On the out for their warm-up. We welcome USA.
S'il vous plaît maintenant, du bruit pour l'équipe du Canada.
And now we welcome their opponents, Canada.
Ils ont déjà remporté 2 médailles d'or aux Jeux Paralympiques de Pékin en 2008, aux Jeux Paralympiques de Sydney en 2000 et ils ont bien l'intention de remettre ça dès cette année ici à Paris.
Let's tell you a little bit more about the teams we're going to be watching in game number 2. First of all, USA, world ranked number 2, the silver medalists at the last 2 stagings of the Paralympic Games. Last won the gold in Beijing in 2008 and the silver medalists from the World Championships which took place in 2022. USA.
L'équipe du Canada de son côté est entraînée par Patrick Cotte. Ils sont déjà double médaillés paralympiques puisqu'ils avaient remporté l'argent à Londres en 2012, mais également l'argent à Athènes. Et puis bien sûr ils sont également vice-champions panaméricains 2023. Ils ont terminé 5e des derniers JO en 2021, 5e de la dernière Coupe du Monde. Et ils sont 5e au rang mondial actuel.
USA to Canada, world rank number 5, the last Paralympic medal took in the silver medal, London 2012. All of these teams actually led up in the final of the Paralympics last year, which was won by USA. Canada had 2 silvers and 1 bronze in Paralympic history in wheelchair.
Si vous étiez bien à l'heure ce matin, eh bien, tant mieux pour vous. Mais pour tous ceux qui sont arrivés en retard et qui assistent peut-être pour la première fois à une épreuve de rugby fauteuil, eh bien, alors ça prépare une vidéo explicative avec toutes les règles qu'il faut savoir. Pour cette compétition, vous allez pouvoir regarder sur l'écran géant le rugby fauteuil pour ceux qui n'ont pas eu la chance de voir la vidéo explicative tout à l'heure en début de notre session.
Lots of you of course, have just sat through one match. Hopefully now, if you are brand new to wheelchair rugby, you have picked up a little bit in terms of how the game works. If you haven't, if you just come into the arena, or maybe a little bit more explain, we have the AUS explainer video on screen. They're both playing matches for English right now.
Le rugby fauteuil est un sport de contact qui combine du rugby, du basket-ball et du handball. Objectif, marquer le plus d'essais. Un essai, c'est lorsqu'un joueur franchit la ligne d'essai avec le ballon et de but. Chaque équipe est mixte et composée de 4 athlètes sur le terrain. Choc et blocage stoppent les adversaires ou créent des ouvertures pour marquer. Les matchs se jouent en 4 cartons de 8 minutes chacun. En possession du ballon, on a 10 secondes pour rebondir ou passer, 12 pour franchir la ligne médiane et 40 pour marquer. La pression est forte, le jeu intense. La classification des athlètes va de 0.5 à 3.5. Elle correspond aux degrés de limitation à la partie du milieu. Les 4 joueurs sur le terrain peuvent dépasser un total de 8 points. Un mouvement supplémentaire est accordé pour chaque joueur. Les défenseurs utilisent un long fauteuil muni d'un large choc pour percuter et retenir les adversaires. Les attaquants utilisent des fauteuils conçus pour la vitesse et pour évoluer dans des espaces restreints. Ces fauteuils sont faciles à manœuvrer en match. La tactique, le physique et les chutes font partie des filets et l'impact des Jeux Paralympiques de Paris 2024.
It's a full contact sport that combines elements of rugby, basketball, and handball. Teams compete to score the most tries. A try is scored when a player with the ball crosses the try line with 2 wheels. Each team can have 4 mixed-gender players on the court at any one time. Hitting and blocking are used to stop our opponents or create openings for us to score. Matches are played in 4 quarters, 8 minutes each. Once we get possession of the ball, we have 10 seconds to bounce or pass, 12 seconds to get to the other half, and 40 seconds to score. The pressure is on, adding excitement to the game. Athletes are allocated a sport class based on a point score ranging from 0.5 to 3.5. These are given based on the degree of activity limitations on our ability to play rugby. The 4 players on the court cannot exceed a total of 8 points. An additional half point is allowed for each female player on the court. Defensive players use a longer wheelchair and have a wider bump designed to strike and hold opponents, while attacking players use wheelchairs designed for speed and agility to maneuver through tight spaces. Tactics, physicality, and good tumbles are all part of the game. Watch us compete at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games.
It's Thursday lunchtime, so what can that possibly mean apart from dance can? If you see yourself on screen, the official Team USA representative on screen right now, show us your moves and bring your friends.
La danse can est sur les écrans, on vous voit avec votre maillot de l'équipe de France. C'est le moment de danser, allez, c'est la dance can, bougez, donnez tout ce que vous avez.
There we go, USA. Try and get in sync if you can. That's it, same way at the same time. There we go. Come on, Canada, what have you got in response? Give us some moves.
Les Français qui sont déjà là et qui bougent aussi sur la dance can. La Grande-Bretagne toujours là. On bouge, on bouge, on bouge. On commence à faire monter l'ambiance de ce match.
Welcome to the Champ de Mars Arena in the shadow of La Tour Eiffel for Paris 2024, the 17th Games of the Paralympiad. Today, the opening match of Group A in the wheelchair rugby competition. The United States of America against Canada. Our referees for this North American clash of titans, Liam Costello of Australia, who was refereeing at Tokyo in 2022, and Poland's Lucas Szymczak, who has experience in Rio and also notably at the Pan American Games in Santiago, where both our teams featured back in November in South America. Time to meet the teams, starting with the Tokyo silver medalists, the United States of America.
Number 11, Lee Fredette.
Numéro 15.
Number 15, Josh O'Neill.
Numéro 21.
Number 21, Clayton Brackett.
Numéro 23.
Number 23, Brad Hudspeth.
Numéro 44.
Number 44, Zion Remington.
Et le numéro 55.
And number 55, Mason Simons.
So there they are, the United States of America, led by their coach, Joe Delagrave, who was on the court as a player back in Tokyo when they fell one game shy of gold. And their talismanic man who wears 5, Chuck Aoki, has spoken about the determination of this group to end the United States' 16-year gold medal drought.
Number 1, Rio Kandakova.
And there he is, the former captain turned coach, succeeding James Gumby Gumber. Now, here are their fierce North American rivals, Canada.
Number 8, Mike Whitehead. Number 9, Cody Caldwell. Number 12, Patrice Gardiner.
Numéro 21.
Number 21, Anthony Letourneau.
Numéro 30.
Number 30, Joel Hewitt.
Numéro 31.
Number 31, Matthew Dudley.
Numéro 33.
Number 33, Zach Bedell.
Et numéro 41.
And number 41, Eric Furtado Rodriguez.
Well, here they are, the Canadians, with Zach Medall very much the man to watch at all times as far as Canada are concerned. Led by Patrick Cote, the 41-year-old, who delivered a Pan American silver in not just Santiago but Lima 4 years previously, and 5th
If you're able, please stand for the national anthem.
Palais at the Worlds. Now the national anthems.
Et maintenant, si vous le pouvez, merci de rester debout pour l'hymne national du Canada.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Canada.
Well, they packed themselves in once again. This arena is set to be jumping for the duration of the Paralympics with a great fervour to catch a sight of the sport that was invented in Canada, initially mastered by USA, and in its early days known as murder ball. Chateau, Jeff Butler, Sarah Adam and Josh Wheeler, they bring a blend of the high points of Chateau with a couple of mid-pointers.
Captain number 5, Chateau.
One low pointer. While we see more of a high-low strategy here with Whitehead, Medell and Hirschfield, the captain, in there as one of the low point players.
L'équipe de départ pour le Canada.
And starting for Canada.
Capitaine numéro 10.
Captain number 10, Trevor Hirschfield.
Numéro 8.
Number 8, Mike Whitehead.
Numéro 33.
Number 33, Zach Medell.
Et numéro 41.
And number 41, Eric Furtado Rodriguez.
Opening match of Pool A of the Paris 2024 wheelchair rugby program is underway. Canada in red face up against their old North American rivals, United States of America. And it's Canada who score the first try.
First try of the match for Canada, number 8, Mike Whitehead.
Well, there's a fair bit of history between these two nations, a lot of history in the game. In fact, it was these two in 1982 who locked horns for the first ever wheelchair rugby international after the game was invented by Duncan Campbell and co. in Winnipeg back in 1977.
Josh Wheeler on the ball with the first try of the game for the USA.
The United States, so dominant in the early years, so eager to no longer be the nearly men, but to be the golden guys. They were defeated in the World Championship final in Denmark a couple of years ago. They were defeated by Great Britain in the Paralympic final in Tokyo. And this man, Chateau, has come so close, but he is so desperate to go that one step further and make it gold. He's an extraordinary player, the man who was a co-flag bearer at Tokyo. He did so alongside Joe Delagrave, who's now his coach. Good defensive work, making the route troublesome for Medel. He's got the wherewithal to find old Shake and Quake. Mike Whitehead is here for his 6th Paralympic Games, an extraordinary achievement from the 48-year-old. Aiming from Windsor, Ontario. Aoki, the Minneapolis man, is quite simply a force of nature. First time out of the game, forced upon. There's less than 90 seconds played, though. Timeouts, things that you want to use sparingly. In the game of wheelchair rugby. USA in possession with Aoki, goes long over the top, finds Josh Wheeler. 2.5-point player, Josh Wheeler, but he really travels at a lick. Such a valuable talent to have on court, combining with Chuck Aoki. They're very much a passing team, the USA. See a great variety of contributions from a number of their players. You can see right there, Jeff Butler doing the dirty work, getting Whitehead all locked up. Brilliant, in fact, from the low pointer. And there's a few diehards there in the crowd. Hirschfeld with the inbound, finds Whitehead. Big, tall figure to be aiming at, and off goes Zach Medel. Sticks his head down, accelerates forward. Off go the USA. This is Sarah Adam, who not only is the first female wheelchair rugby player to represent USA at a Paralympics, she's now the first ever try scorer. A proud moment for the debutante. It's a really wonderful story. She said that, you know, this mantle of being the first female athletes to represent USA at the wheelchair rugby at the Paralympics, it's actually striven her to work even harder and to ensure that she's recognised for her athletic feats, and not and the fact that her being a woman is an additional detail. Her scoring has then led to a turnover and a handy little lead early here from the USA.
Substitutions for Canada as we welcome into the game. Number 1, Rio Kovac, and number 12, their co-captain, Patrice Dagenet.
Kovac, Paralympic debut for him as well. And he lives in Toronto. Installed along with Patrice Dagenet. Another Ontario man taking to the court for his 4th Paralympics. Here's Zach Medel. Just showing excellent chair control. Stopping, starting, manoeuvring. Cote watches on. USA don't hang around though, long over the top. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Launch one long. Ask Wheeler to chase it. He does the rest. Oh, intercept, snaffled by Josh Wheeler, who loses a wheel for his troubles. But he doesn't matter, he loves it. Well, that is all the wisdom of a man who's been to two Paralympics previously, 3 World Championships. The Tokyo COVID postponement prompted him to make a return to education. Picked up a BA at the University of Arizona. He's showing on-court intelligence in this instance with that interception. USA leading early and in possession. And as you can see from the arrow there on the centre line, they will have the first possession come the next period as things stand. So everything swinging in the direction of the USA at the moment. And Chuck Aoki squeezes himself across. Adele too fast for Aoki. Canada respond. Jeff Butler with the inbound, picks out Sarah Adam, who has the attentions of Ria Kanda-Kovac. But the attentions aren't tight enough. Ball finds its way to Aoki. It's all looking very smooth and rhythmic for the USA at the moment. Kanda-Kovac engages Adam and Butler, and it's easy street for Medel. Such a fine player. Cote will need the best of Medel if Canada are to reach the semi-finals. Oh, Chuck Aoki uncharacteristically sees the ball slip from his grip and he calls for a timeout under pressure. Well, you don't see that very often. Did well to retain the ball, but was forced into calling the timeout. Dagenet and Hirschfield doing a job on him. And with 9 seconds having passed since the inbound, he was running out of time to get it across the centre line. That's why he's called for the timeout. That is actually the first one. It wasn't a timeout earlier that I misidentified. So USA still with 3 player ones intact. Timeouts are used by and large when players get themselves into trouble. They feel that they aren't going to have sufficient time to either get across the centre line or score. And they can also be used for management of the clock in the latter stages of a period as teams try and manipulate the timer and the scoring sequence so that they are the last ones to score before the half. They don't want to give the opposition opportunity to be the last ones to score. It's that little incremental advantage that the teams look for. Number of changes coming onto the court. Cody Caldwell being one of them. Now a 3-time Paralympian. He was torchbearer at the 2015 Toronto Para-Pan Ams on a hometown leg in Peterborough. He is one of the many out there who were inspired to take to the game, having watched the seminal movie Murder Ball. Watched it a week after his accident, having been a big dedicated ice hockey man. Murder Ball, if you haven't seen it, about 20 years old now, charting the rivalry between USA and Canada en route to the 2004 Athens Paralympics. And, well, it's without doubt the movie that's inspired a generation. You look through the biographies of many of these players out here, and it's not just limited to the USA and Canada. People watched it, and that's what made them fall in love with the sport of wheelchair rugby. As much the attitude of the sport as the gameplay. Big personalities, big characters, and the rivalry continues to bristle between USA and Canada. Chateau gives himself a bit of time. Wheeler gets in and makes a nuisance of himself. Some good work from Fredette as well here on the near side. Got a bit tight, but the composure was there, and so too Josh O'Neill. Paralympic debut and try. From a man from Colorado Springs. Zach Medell. Responding immediately. Canada found a bit of their rhythm now. They do need a turnover or two. It would be handy if they could get one in these remaining 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Long over the top, too challenging, too much asked of Josh O'Neill. That's a little gift for USA. You wonder, did that risk need to be taken? Mason Simons, big man wearing 55, is on for a Paralympic debut. He has got the vastly experienced Chuck Melton alongside him, wearing 2. So too Jeff Butler now back on court, but they can't do anything about that burst from the Zach attack.
Chuck Melton into the game for USA, wearing number 2. Mason Simons wearing 55 and Jeff Butler wearing 6, all back on court.
Chateau finds plenty of room after good work from Butler and Melton in the middle. And they're just winding down that clock. Looking to manipulate the clock. This is where it gets interesting in terms of the sequence of scoring. Coming back to the point that I made earlier, that teams always want to be the last to score in a period. So with the 40-second possession in mind, oh, this is going to be a stretch for Medell, but great pace. He stretches low. And a man from Okotoks, Alberta, gets himself across the line. Key score, quick one as well. Now we're into the 2 minutes. How will USA manage this? Off goes Aoki. Around the outside. Beats the challenger Caldwell. Finds Simmons.
First score of the game for USA is number 55, Mason Simons.
Zach Medell has his pocket picked. I was just about to remark on how cool and collected he was and the way that he was picking his pass, but he does make amends. He does manage to track down Aoki. The USA still in command. Looking to manipulate the clock here. Aoki goes down a red run that is an alleyway. Looks to squeeze his way through. Might run out of time here. Aoki has forced himself too much. That is brilliant from Mason Simons. He was under extreme pressure. The clock was against him, and he found a way to wriggle in reverse with tenths of seconds on the clock. Interesting period here now for Canada and Medal. Looks like they may just look to wind the clock down and then call a timeout. Melton and Simons engage. Le Tourneau is the next to stick it under his jumper. Now the timeout gets called. And the clock will be reset, well, in theory to 15 seconds. When you call a timeout, shot clock gets reset to 15, but with only 14 left on the period, it means that it should guarantee Canada the final try of the period. Over they go, and soon enough, it's in Medal's hands. Medal up against Sarah Adam. Meets the might of Aoki. Medal still a bit of a way to go. Gives it to Caldwell. 3.4 on the clock. Wheeler will go long. He's got an arm on him. He's got Aoki. He's going to go for the end zone. Oh, he just runs out of time as Sarah Adam arrives on the scene. One of the Canadians has taken a tumble as a result. Thrilling play at the end of the period. USA don't get the additional try, and it means that Canada trail by just 2, 14 points to 12 at the end of the first period.
Allez, la chambre marche, je le sais, on est peut-être sur le moment de la digestion, là, peut-être que vous voulez manger un petit sandwich, peut-être que vous voulez manger une petite salade. Vous savez ce qu'on va faire avant le début de ce deuxième carton? Eh bien, on va faire un petit peu de bruit pour les joueurs. Est-ce que les
3 steals to the USA. They've proven critical in this opening period, and that's why they got the lead.
On va voir si le Canada peut faire mieux. Supporters du Canada, est-ce que vous êtes là? C'est un petit peu mieux.
Great vibes here in the Champ de Mars. It was really a sport that captured everyone's imagination in Tokyo. It has every edition. It was first introduced as a test event back in '96 in Atlanta, and that's when USA won. It wasn't technically a gold medal in Paralympic terms, but certainly they and Canada have loved it ever since its introduction to the Summer Paralympics. Group A in the wheelchair rugby, USA 14, Canada 12. Second period about to commence. Second period of the meeting of the USA and Canada in the wheelchair rugby. Day one of the Paris 2024 Paralympics. back underway, and it's the USA who are leading Canada 14 points to 12. A couple of steals, 3 steals in fact for the USA. In that opening period, Wheeler combining with Aoki right there, just as he did in the opening period. The USA's passing game, very precise. And that's pretty precise too. From Letourneau into the hands of Medel. Amazing, actually. Letourneau, one of his inspirations to get involved in the sport was watching a video online featuring Zach Medel. Now here he is, giving him assists at the Paralympics. It's incredible the journey that you can go on from dreaming to realising at Paralympic level. We've just got a stoppage for some running repairs to the chair of Josh Wheeler. 60 seconds permitted to make sure everything's in working order. Doesn't count as a timeout either. It's quite simply a factor of the sport. Into the hands of Aoki, who assumes the quarterback role as ever. Finds his running back. And Wheeler's in for another try. Oh, Wheeler's doing some gritty work there. Ooh, just turned around in time there. Did Letourneau. Medel. (16-14). So 10 of the 14 tries scored attributed to Zach Medel, and here is the United States. First wheelchair rugby female Paralympian helping herself to another try. She's getting big raps from the in-venue announcers, who are doing a fine job of keeping the place humming as well. It is a party spirit at the wheelchair rugby, quite reminiscent of the vibes you get at the beach volleyball, in fact. They want the crowd involved, they want it noisy, they want the players feeding off the energy of the crowd. And, well, Joe Delagrave is enjoying it, and well, the USA bench having a good old laugh about it as well. And they won't be laughing about the ease with which Medel has broken them down again. Wow. Potential candidate for the finest dressed fan at Paris so far. I like the cut of that man's jib. Aoki collides with Medel, but Aoki just had the lurch on the Canadian. Oh, it's asking a lot of Letourneau, and it's asked too much, in fact. Cody Caldwell looks on ruefully. And this is an opportunity for USA to extend their lead now. Change is being run. Lee Fredette. Chuck Melton, Mason Simons. On for the USA, Hirschfield, Kander Kovac. Dagenet on for Canada. So, 6 of the 8 players on court newly installed. Dagenet, noted for his calmness on court, cool head. In the wheelchair rugby on-court furnace that is the Paris 2024 Paralympics. Off goes Medel. Slaloms through. And when everyone know that he's home and hosed, the rest of his team start to make their defensive moves. Kander Kovac looking to lock up Aoki. It's so in tandem with Hirschfield, and they do a real good job. Triple team. Dagenet involved as well, but the reach from Hirschfield makes contact with Aoki's arm. So all that good work, all that pressure, just released by the blast of the referee's whistle. Trevor Hirschfield off to the penalty box. He'll be there for 60 seconds or until USA score. More often than not, it is until the opposition score. Chuck Aoki is going to use each and every last second. Almost. And then Hirschfield, you see him put his arm up in the air to nominate himself for the inbound. So what Aoki was doing there, he was delaying scoring the try to give his team an opportunity to block Hirschfield in the penalty box. Because he couldn't come out, he then nominates himself for the inbound. And it allows the USA to control the way that Canada look to break free. Contact with the arm from Mason Simons. So he'll go on the naughty step now. I know he won't. Penalty try awarded, so he is spared the ignominy of time in the penalty box. And instead, he will barrel forward and find Aoki. It gets across the centre line. Chuck to Chuck. Well, I beg your pardon, it's Eric Newby. The 36-year-old gets his first try of the game. Another try for Medel. Sight we're going to get very used to seeing. They've got 5 members in the squad here, Canada, who won silver at the London 2012 Paralympics. They include Medel, Hirschfield, Morale, Whitehead, Dagenet. So they are drawing on quite a lot of experience and blended with some youth as well in there. Newby's a man who's been around the block himself. 3rd Paralympics for him. And there is an arm contact in there from Zach Medel. Let's take a look here. He kind of got done by the weave, didn't he? Got a bit heavy-handed on Eric Newby. There's another man. Inspired by murder ball, and in fact that was no ordinary foul, that was a flagrant foul. So as I said, pretty heavy-handed, and that sees Medel into the penalty box. And well, when Chuck Aoki decides, USA will be leading 22 points to 18. And as you can see, his old mate Josh Wheeler has been dispatched to the penalty box to block Medel's access. Back onto the court. but he'll be broken free by virtue of a timeout that is called by the coach. And it'll be 60 seconds for Canada to reassess their strategy, trailing the USA 22 points to 18. Medel back on court. Sparks flying between him and Aoki momentarily. Big collision from Dagenet. Almost sees Medel through easily. Dagenet then refocuses attentions on Adam. Well, it is congested in that key, and Medel, by sheer force of will and power, eases his way across the line. Adam was there, but she couldn't do anything about it. The former collegiate softball player. Now, she's back on the ball. Greeted by two red jerseys. Thrashes her way through the contact. Dishes it to Aoki. That signal there from Aoki, just pointing at the shoulder, that says to the referee he's got a technical problem. I think you could hear the air coming out of the tyre through our atmosphere mics as well there. So on comes the mechanic. It's a chance for everyone to take an impromptu breather as well.
Supporters américains des United States. Est-ce que vous êtes là, les Américains? Il y a pas de souci dans les tribunes, j'ai l'impression.
Look at that, pretty jam-packed. A lot of maple leaves out there. There are the ultras, the diehards. It is no different to every venue that we've enjoyed in Paris across these many weeks. Vibrant, patriotic, and generous as well to each and every athlete and nation who've taken to whatever field of play it may be. A little hint of the multi-minute men and women. Aoki gets embroiled by Kanda Kovac. Long over the top, it was a real stretcher for Sarah Adam. Too much of a stretch. Looks like she may have left the court before actually claiming the pass. A rare moment of passing in precision from the USA. And a little glint of hope that was much needed by Canada. Butler just catches a little bit of Kanda Kovac, who thought he was home. But Medel finishes the job. That looked to be spinning contact there, catching the back of the wheels behind the axle, which is deemed as dangerous play. Off goes Wheeler, and he's got too much pace for Dagenet. Lovely pass, love to see that aerial action. Aoki back to Wheeler. It really is so fluid sometimes from the USA. Coaching, 2.5 minutes remaining of the first half. USA in control since the first period. But Medel continuing to demonstrate that he is a force of nature on the court. Oh, just slips from the hand of Wheeler. It was slightly laissez-faire. And Hirschfield snaps it up. Doesn't even hesitate, and all of a sudden, Canada are back in this. 1 point the deficit. Wheeler, a man on a mission to make amends, but he throws long. USA lose possession, and this has been a nightmare 60 seconds for those with star-spangled arms. Two turnovers and a loss of possession, and Canada are now staring down the barrel of drawing level for the first time in many, many minutes. Tricky inbound, but it works well. Whitehead to Medel, and listen to the roar from the Reds. Canada are level. Simons to Aoki. Whitehead back onto the field of play. But Melton is the other Chuck, doing a bit of scoreboard damage now. Here's Whitehead. 48 years old. 6 Paralympics, 6 World Championships under his belt. A man who was given everything to Canadian wheelchair rugby. Now comes the chess element of wheelchair rugby. The manipulation of the defence married with that of the game clock. 5 seconds remaining, and Medel backs himself, and right he should. Unflustered by the ticking clock, and even a little glance to the stands, where the Canadians are getting noisier and noisier with every play. Great take from Mason Simons, arching back, and then the return to Aoki. Such a beautiful passing and moving style that the Americans have, but it may not have benefited them here. What's the call? 24 all. Here we go.
Penalty against Canada, number 8, Whitehead goes into the penalty box.
Well, is that for leaving the court there? Fine margins. Whitehead goes into the penalty box. USA will attack against 3 Canadians. They'll also get a chance to do as they please with the clock. 55, often a marker that teams look to score. In their designs to be the last scorer of the half. So Canada have worked in. Whitehead uses brute force to advance. And then Melton and Butler say, no way through us. Canada have only 1 player timeout, 1 coach's timeout left. I wonder Well, that discouraged them from using it to manipulate these final moments of the half. 10 seconds on their possession clock. 20 on the game clock. Medal is finding they're going a little bit rough. Seconds ticking out. Aoki with a big sweep of the right arm. Massive moment in the dying embers of this second period. And look at that game clock. It is USA possession. Aoki collects. 5 seconds to get down the other end and score. Time to put the Jets on. Dishes it to Sarah Adam. And incredibly, it is no try. The wheels were over the line from Sarah Adam before she received the pass. That's Aoki down on the court, having been clattered. He knew the contact was coming. He knew he had Adam with him. So she was already over the line. Wow, an extraordinary climax to this first half. It was, I mean, it's been one that USA have been in complete command of. But then back to back turnovers and errors. One more misjudgment means that USA head into the half leading by a slender 1 point, and Canada will have first possession of the second half.
Into our 10-minute half-time break. The score in game 2 here at Chateau, USA 25.
So, half-time here in Group A. It's the United States of America 25, Canada 24.
Animation Mars, restez bien avec nous avec un beau spectacle qui nous attend d'ici quelques secondes.
Well, there's the tail of the tape. USA leading 25-24. Pretty tight on turnovers, 2 and 3. The steals for the USA, certainly in the first period, proving important. We've got a great second half ahead of us.
La Nation de Mars, on est à la recherche tout simplement du meilleur fan de cette session de rugby fauteuil sur les écrans. Si vous voyez votre cabine, comme on dit chez moi, apparaître, c'est le moment de tout donner. On veut les plus beaux sourires, les plus belles danses, les plus beaux câlins. Donnez tout. Ok, Team USA. Nice hat.
What's worse than wearing a massive hat, you go live on the big screen and it falls off.
Ok, pas mal, je commence à avoir un petit chouchou là. Ça c'est pas mal, ok. En rythme sur Michael Jackson. Les Canadiens, c'est à vous maintenant de jouer. Ok, là je sens qu'il y a un grand mouvement là. Là on a la team qui est venue au complet là, ils sont venus en plus. C'est à vous de jouer, que vous soyez américain, canadien, bien sûr français, tout le monde connaît cette chanson. Les paroles s'affichent sur l'écran géant, ça va être à vous de faire un boulot maintenant. Allez, on sort, on chante. Ça c'est pas mal. On se prépare? Ok. Attention. Et là je veux tout le monde en même temps. Plus fort, la Nation de Mars. Vous êtes formidable.
Welcome back to the Champ de Mars for the wheelchair rugby at Paris 2024, where the United States of America lead Canada 25 points to 24. And as you can see and hear, this is part sports venue, part rock emporium, or pop emporium more suitably, with ABBA and the DJ and the sports presentation getting the crowd well and truly alive for one of the most vibrant sports on the Paralympic schedule. Second half of the USA against Canada in wheelchair rugby at Paris 2024 is underway, and the team in possession is the team equalising. Zach Medell, their titan of a try scorer, levelling things up for Canada. 25 apiece. Fascinating first half where USA were in command for large swathes of the contest, and then just a passage of 60 seconds where they conceded a couple of turnovers, one loose pass, brought Canada right back into things, and then right at the end, at the last gasp, Chuck Aoki unable to find Sarah Adam with the final pass, meaning that the USA didn't score the last try of the half, and well, Zach Medell's cruised home there, but all throughout that, Sarah Adam was a wheel short in the backcourt. Sarah Adam, the history maker here in Paris for Team USA. Assistant professor at University in Missouri. She's looking to use that now to unlock this pretty obdurate Canadian defence that was pressing high. And it's a press that's forced the USA into an early timeout here in this third period. Just over 40 seconds played with the scores tied. For the record, USA have 2 player timeouts and a coach timeout remaining, and Canada have 1 player, 1 coach. So the ledger evening up in terms of timeouts as well, which will prove significant come the latter stages of the 2 remaining periods. Adam and Butler do a bit of a pincer job on the edge there on Rodriguez. Eric Rodriguez, who's on wearing 41. It means that Zach Medell can make his way through nice and safely. Caldwell finds Medell, and he does so very nicely. 27-all. Now, we touched at the start of the game on the rivalry that dates back to the first ever Wheelchair Rugby International in 1982 between these nations. But this is a history that is intertwined in the game. It goes coursing through wheelchair rugby, and the most recent dust-ups that these two have had a bearing on their roots to this Paralympics. They met in Santiago at the absolutely fabulous Pan American Games that were hosted in November in South America, and it was the USA who triumphed 57-51 there and gained them automatic qualification for this Games, whereas Canada had to go through the qualification route. They travelled down to Wellington. They made the final. They were defeated by Australia in overtime, but as it stood, it was the top three from that competition who gained a place here in Paris. So Australia, Canada, and it was Germany who defeated Brazil in the bronze medal match. You just wonder about those routes through. They've got the added incentive of getting one back on USA for that defeat in the final. And also, they've sort of developed their mental fortitude, having to go through the qualification channels, having to have that added layer of jeopardy in the manner at which they reach Paris. Having trailed in the opening salvos, they've certainly shown the depth of that fortitude. And here they are trailing by one with the ball in the hands of their top try scorer, Medel. What a pass! Threading the needle to Cody Caldwell. And Patrice Cotte is beginning to really enjoy himself. Oh, he's up and animated, I can tell you that. Aoki, sought out by Wheeler. Wheeler is running the blocking line, isn't he? And rather intelligently, Sarah Adam has just ghosted in on the left edge of the key. I only went to US trials in 2021, having picked up the game in 2017. Only took it seriously a couple of years later. Here she is at a Paralympics. That's really good from Aoki. Really making Medel work. And he had his pocket picked by Aoki in the first period. Seemingly learned his lesson just yet. Trevor Herschel, the man they call T-Bone. Kanda Kovac, who almost gave up the game when he missed out on selection for Tokyo. Well, we, and certainly Canada are glad you didn't, Rio. A try-scoring pass to Medel from the young 21-year-old. So much more to give the game. Wheeler has already given an awful lot at the tender age of 44. Heading off for another try. (31-30). Joe Delagrave's men lead. Kanda Kovac into the path of Medel once more. Well, it's you score, I score at the moment. Turnover opportunities, few and far between. As we wind our way towards the halfway point of this third period. A lot of variety to the Canadian setup. We've seen multiple combinations deployed thus far. Kanda Kovac is throwing his weight around a bit in tandem with Dagenet. But Medel once again dispossessed by Aoki, and Aoki punishes him in supersonic fashion. It was the arrival of Wheeler just as Medel was setting himself for the pass. Aoki right onto it. Medel, though, confidence unshaken. Goes to the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar style skyhook over the top and into the grasp of Ria Kanda-Kovac, her first Paralympic try for the 2.5 class player. O'Neill and Wheeler on this occasion, the foils for Aoki. Medel stopped in his tracks. He might get trapped in the key here as well. You're only allowed to be in there for 10 seconds, but he just about thrashes his way free. A lot of time on the clock in terms of scoring. And with that in mind, it's pretty composed stuff as Hirschfield is guided in. Aoki to Wheeler, back to Chuck. Once more over the top, this time it is Fredette. The man from Port Jefferson, New York, gets himself a few Parisian points. Risky ball from Medel, swatted away by Josh Wheeler. Timeout called by Medel. Resets the shot clock that had diminished to 2.4 seconds. Well, it was ambitious, wasn't it? Had to go through a forest of arms, seeking out Kanda-Kovac and Josh Wheeler, who was the best 2.5 class player here in Paris at the Rio Paralympic qualifier many moons ago, invoking that spirit of years yonder. He's still got it here in the French capital, to the delight of some young fans. Big call from Medel there. Shot clock's running out, trailing by 2. They do need to score, but that is the last player timeout at their disposal. I beg your pardon. There's just one coach timeout remaining. You see the clock has just started now. The clock starts from when the ball is touched by a player or a chair from the inbound. It's not from when it's launched from the line. So, astute play by Medel to buy himself as much time as possible as USA's key defence is breached. They're defending high here, Canada. They're looking to make life difficult for USA to even get out of their half. Chuck Aoki kind of makes everything look easy at times, doesn't he? Across the centre line. Has a bounce so that he's not called for a 10-second dribbling violation. One more. And now his troops are deployed. Fredette locks up Kanda-Kovac alongside O'Neill. Wheeler's in the key, acting as a block and a distraction. O'Neill just ghosts his way in on the left edge of the key. Great discipline to keep his wheels in before claiming the pass, which has been an issue on a couple of occasions for the USA so far. with 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's the USA leading Canada 36-34. Canada will be desperate to be the last team to score in this period. Wheeler does a bit of aerial thieving once again. A real thorn in the Canadian side this last 60 minutes, and the man who created the opportunity is denied the opportunity to finish it. Kanda Kovac arrives and grasps the arm of Wheeler. Third steal of the match for Josh Wheeler. What a couple of interjections he's had. He heads from the court. And we've got a new setup. Mason Simons is back on. Chuck Melton too. And Jeff Butler. Here's Melton. To Mason. To the other Chuck. And this is USA's chance to end the period leading by 3. Melton has to spin around and it's not tidy. Time ticking away. Can Aoki find a way through? Well, the answer is no. Well, Trevor Hirschfield has been sacrificed, so it's now 2-on-4, and Canada are sort of backing their ability to keep USA out for 2.7 seconds. That was tight. Jeff Butler arriving bang on time, claimed the ball before his wheels crossed the line. Vidal goes long. Kanda Kovac won't get an opportunity to make it count. It's a good period for the USA, who've re-established their dominance on the scoreboard. And there, Butler, impeccable timing, takes the claim, hits the line, and at the end of the third period, United States of America lead Canada 37 points to 34. Look at the penalties from Canada, 6-1. Conversely, steals for the USA, 5-1. A big bearing on this 3-point cushion that the USA currently command. Fourth and final period set to get underway in this Group A clash between the USA and Canada. And it is the former leading their North American neighbours, 37 points to 34. USA with the inbound possession, with the lead, and primed to extend it. This is a tall task for Canada in this fourth period. And then got one coach timeout remaining as well, so an opportunity for the USA to really press them. Really just turn the screw and see if they can force more errors from a side that are also going to have to chance their arm as well if they're to narrow arrears on the scoreboard. Chuck Aoki takes his sweet time to make USA's lead 38-34. Trevor Hirschfield is back on court, out of the penalty box, obviously, because of the break since the period, and here's Shake and Quake, Mike Whitehead. Struggling to make his way across the centre line at the moment, but he does find Medell, who's tight to that centre line. There was a hint that Aoki might shunt him back. But Medell too strong, too fast. A couple of the chairs getting intertwined. Committed picking, that's what they call that at the front of the chair down low, a pick bar, and it is specifically designed to trap the wheels of the more agile chairs out there, the ones like Sarah Adam is using out there. They're more rounded at the front, they're a little more nimble, they're a little easier to topple as well, but it gives the players increased dexterity. That's why you'll see someone like Medell, the big try scorers, zipping through traffic and sort of turning on a sixpence. But he's just missed there by the pick of Jack Butler. Trevor Hirschfield, the 1-point classification player, adds a try to the Canadian tally, trailing by 3. Josh Wheeler, he's got to be one of the most impactful mid-point players out there. By mid-point, I'm talking about the 1.5 to 2.5 range. In terms of the classification, in terms of that points makeup of players out there on the court. Whitehead, three-pointer, ships it to Medell, a 3.5, and he does the rest. Sometimes it is just all about pumping the arms, spinning the wheels, and going as fast as he can. That's what Chuck Aoki's just done there. 41, plays 37 in favour of the United States of America. Whitehead blocked off brilliantly by Sarah Adam. Let's get back into the pocket to Medell, who goes head-on into Wheeler. Back round to see if there's any room down the left. Guess who? Sarah Adam, back for more, but good movement from Whitehead. Off the ball, and Medell finds him with a fist pass. Well, it's safe to say that Chuck Ake and Sarah Adam have got a blossoming partnership. 5 tries for the debutant. In Paralympic terms, I'm talking. Whitehead, just getting bumped before receiving the ball and having to arch back. Medell set upon immediately by Adam, by Aoki. Working as a pair. Adam gets all snared up by Eric Rodriguez in the middle. That was quite key, actually, for Canada to escape and get the score. They need some turnovers, though. Ball goes free, bouncing off the chair of Lee Fredette. Fredette is not giving up. Oh, it was too much of an ask for Kanda Kovac. Too far in front, too fast. Kanda Kovac unable to roll on to receive the pass. That may just be Canada's final timeout used by Coach Cote. Well, the rumour is this place is nigh on sold out for the duration of the Paralympics. And you can bet your bottom dollar the manner in which the host nation have been fervently supported throughout both the Olympics and bound to be Paralympics, that this place will be jumping when France are in here on court. But their inspirational man, Jonathan Yvonat, to pin their hopes upon, the European champions, 2-time European champions, in fact, France. And a team that has made waves since the last Paralympics in Tokyo. It's been a wonderful cycle, in fact, with just teams beating everyone. Titles going to all sorts of nations. You go around the arena here, the Champ de Mars, and it's very difficult to get anyone to fully commit to their view of who will claim gold, who will even make the semi-finals, to be honest. You can't even pin it down to a continent or a qualification region. That's how tight it is. And the likes of Australia, GB, Japan, these two before us here, and then into Europe with Denmark, France, and Germany back at the Games for the first time in over a decade. Canada, though, right now, have their work cut out. They need a spark. They need an error or a big defensive play. Eric Newby almost loses his balance, but he's got the strength and the poise to maintain. It's going to be likely to be his last Paralympics, Eric Newby. He's got an eye on coaching. He's always been a man with a tactical eye for the game, and he wants to bring that to the whistle after he steps away from the court in a playing capacity. And here he is, a big St. Louis man. Big St. Louis sports fan, big Cardinals fan. Started his journey in wheelchair rugby terms playing for the St. Louis Rams. Speaking of Rams, Aoki in a Canadian China shop there. The Tourneau onto the end and keeping Canada in within 3. Nice take. Nice Simons. Back to Aoki. Scoreboard ticking along nicely for the USA. What pressure can Canada apply on them? They'll score through Medel.
Coaches, timeout called by Canada.
Well, Canada called their final coach's timeout. It was the USA who called it on the last occasion. So they now are the only team with a timeout, and it is one player timeout remaining. Let's be the final words of inspiration from Coach Cote, who is regarded as a very technically astute coach. Technically and tactically, what can he muster from that strategic brain of his now to try and turn things around in these closing 2 minutes and 15 seconds? USA key up and they invite Canada to try and breach their defences. Medel looks for an opportunity. There is none down there, but there is out wide. Canada Kovac moving into space. Medel finding him with the pass. Can they put some pressure on Aoki? Canada Kovac going to do his level best. It was a beautiful last-minute weave from Aoki, and Adam, he knew that she'd be flying down that left side. And they really have linked up nicely. Good combination. Butler doing a lot of work for them out there as well. He positions himself in front of Canada Kovac, and Medel has to put his arms up high. Canada Kovac has managed to squirm free and get round the other side. USA 48, Canada 45. Time running out for Canada. Dagenet, this is Aoki. Aoki will go all the way. Hirschfield successfully inbounds it. Medel, who's got a hatful of tries already, gets in for another. And really, as far as USA are concerned now, it is hold on to the ball, don't take any risks, make no mistakes. And while Canada do have Aoki all locked up, back in his key, Wheeler is perfectly capable of doing damage solo. They bring up the half-century USA. And 47.3 seconds remain. And Kovac bursts away through, and then Medel follows suit. Gets across with less than 40 seconds on the clock. USA still have that player timeout as well, should they wish to manipulate the clock even more. Oh, that's not going to be a try. Despite the intercept from Medel. Oh, it was brilliant. It was Hirschfield and then Medel who latched onto it, but Dagenet was already across the line when he caught the assist from Medel. Just that glimmer of hope snubbed out. Crowd are on their feet for the climax of this match. One passage remaining. A cacophony of appreciation for wheelchair rugby at Paris 2024 rings around the Champ de Mars. And Mason Simons rewards the fans with a try. 51-47. The game gone for Canada. And Aoki still scrapping for everything as well with Medel. It will be a Canadian possession for that man there, who's just won his first Paralympic match as a coach. The captain turned coach against the USA's old foes, Canada. 51-48. 9 seconds and a shade left. Simons, Aoki. Beautiful ball. The USA purring late in the game. We're running out of time for that last try to raise the Star-Spangled Roof. But it is a job very well done, consummately done by the United States of America, who congratulate and embrace one another as they have opened their campaign with victory here in Paris against Canada. Final score in the opener of Group A, the United States of America 51, Canada 48, at Paris 2024 wheelchair rugby. Well, it's safe to say that the crowd have enjoyed themselves here today. The Canadians, not quite as much to cheer about as their neighbours who border them south. but certainly signs that there is a big performance to come in this Paralympic wheelchair rugby programme that is oh so tight between all 8 nations. Only the top 2 of each group will progress to the semi-finals. And while an opening win will come very welcome, there is many, many more minutes to come, many more collisions, many more magic moments for that sartorially gifted man. USA fans in fine voice. Well, that's how it played out in terms of the statistic. Penalties and steals played a major factor in the outcome of the match. It was a match decided by just 3 tries. USA 51, Canada 48 in the end. So that's how Pool A lies. Germany and Japan yet to play, but United States of America off to winning ways, leading the pool. Wheelchair rugby has commenced at Paris 2024 Paralympics. The Champ de Mars in the 7th arrondissement has been alive and kicking, fueled by the action on the court. And it has laid down a formidable marker for the days to come at the games of the 17th Paralympiad. Thank you to all of you who've tuned in.